I've applied it to be very, very blessed in business. I was failing horribly. By the way, after that low point, that's it. I give up. I got pissed off. It's because of that and developing the oxcart technique that I became part of the top fraction of 1% of my entire industry in the world. And by the way, that was direct sales. That was network marketing. That's not an easy industry.
Welcome back to the What Went Wrong podcast. I am your host, Tabitha Thorell, and I want to welcome a very special guest to the stage, Terry Fossum. I hope I said your name right. I didn't even
Awesome.
prepare
That's
for
all
that.
right. It's close enough.
Welcome, Terry. Guys, you want to listen to what Terry has to say because this is who Terry is and what Terry is about. He is an international entrepreneur achieving the top fraction of 1% of his entire industry in the world. I mean, who has that title? He's a #1 best-selling author on Wall Street, the Wall Street Journal, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and USA Today. He's a #2 TEDx speaker in the world. And he has won the Kicking and Screaming survival reality show on Fox as an Eagle Scout, which that is so interesting. That's a whole nother podcast. And he's also a former officer in the United States Air Force, which is true to my heart because both my brothers were in the Air Force.
Oh, wow.
He was a host of Made in America, and he's the president, board of directors of the INWCEF. He's a black belt in Taekwondo and a top level executive coach on the exceptional performance and speaking to inspire. Oh my gosh, Terry, I think that was the longest introduction that I've had, but it makes me know that through all these titles, through all these accolades, that you definitely did not start at the top. And so our
Okay.
audience is so eager to know what went wrong.
Oh, and Tabitha, thank you for having this podcast. I love this podcast. It's helping so many people because you got to understand all those things you just listed. Those are things I did. Those
Yep.
are not who I am. And
Yes.
they're not who I have been. That's for certain.
Right.
People see me on TV or in movies or, all this other stuff. And oh my God, everything's been great. No, that's not the way it ever is. See, I
Right.
was raised in literally the poorest city in the entire United States of America, a small Texas-Mexico border town by the name of McAllen, Texas. You've heard of it. Everybody's heard of it in the news, where all the border crossings are happening, the cartels are coming across, kidnapping people, terrible thing. Home, you know? And, and don't get me wrong, I love my hometown, I really do, but it can be a little rough growing up there sometime with all the gangs and the drugs.
Yeah.
In fact, I was in my backyard one night in junior high and I heard a noise in my back alley. So I jumped over my back fence with all the bluster of a 14-year-old boy. Dun, dun, dun. Now, understand, that's a bad idea. You don't want to be in my back alley at night. But it
No.
got worse. It got worse when these headlights hit me. Now, that's bad because headlights means a car. A car probably means an adult. An adult in my alley at that time of night, there's a drug deal going on or a robbery or something much worse. None of which they want a 14-year-old witness to. And there I am completely exposed in the headlights. But it got worse. It got worse when the guy walked out in front of those headlights with the assault rifle and aimed it right at me. 14 years old, staring down the barrel of a gun and wondering if my next breath is going to be my last breath. No kid should have to feel that. That's when I was in
No.
junior high. When I was in high school, my father, my dad, was killed. Before he died, one of the neighbors came up to him and said, Merlin, I want to make sure you understand something. I want to make sure you understand something. Those 3 boys of yours, those 3 sons of yours, not a single one of them is ever going to grow up to be anything. See, that's where I come from. That's my background. And again, people see me, you hear all these accolades and everything. I don't know who that guy is. I'm the kid who's never going to grow up to be anything. And I tried. I tried to change that course of my life. And I listened to all the self-improvement I could get in my head and all the positive visualization and all the goal setting. And I started a business and I was terrible at it. I was horrible. I don't know anything about sales or business or anything. And I failed miserably. But I tried again and I failed miserably. And I did my dream boards, Tabitha, and I set my goals and I wrote them down just like I was told to do. The Harvard study said 100% of the people who wrote down their goals achieved them. So I did that. And I went to the seminars and got all excited and tried again and failed again and again and again. And after I tore down my dream board for the last time, realizing it's not going to happen, I finally gave up. And I walked in to the bathroom and I looked myself in the mirror. So he's right. You're never going to grow up to be anything. And I said, wait a minute. No. I refuse to let that happen. For the memory of my dad, if nothing else, I refuse to let that son of a gun be right. And Tabitha, something happened. Something clicked inside of me. In fact, I got pissed. That failure, that low point pissed me off. Let's be honest. Let's be real here. And I got up and I brushed myself off again and I got back at it. Now, I still hit those same setbacks and the same no's and the same temporary failures again and again, but I did it from a different standpoint now. Not some positive visualization, some carrot that I knew would never happen to a kid like me. I'm the guy who's never going to grow up to be anything. But now I had a different force pushing me. I had the stick that if I didn't do this, if I didn't keep going, then I was never going to grow up to be anything. And that empowered me. I let that failure, just like you teach on your podcast, I let that failure empower me and propel me. Now, at that moment, I didn't realize it, but the oxcart technique was born. And this is the technique now that when I put it in a book was called the most significant advancement in the science of goal setting in recent history by Forrest Mims III, named one of the top 50 best brains in science, the top one of the top 10 business minds in the world, says it works every time. And that coming from a guy that just almost gave up completely because I used that failure. So now when I put that in a book, it became the #1 best-selling book, like you said, on Wall Street Journal, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, become the subject of my #2 TED Talks in the world. And it's helped so many people actually reach their goals because it dispels the myths on goal setting. It teaches the truth. It exposes the lies on goal setting. We've all been taught that I used to teach people that
Right.
didn't work, which led to 92% of the people who set a goal fail. It fills in that missing piece of the puzzle. So just like you and your podcast teach, in a very specific way, using that failure to become, in my case, more successful than I ever dreamed I would ever be in a lot of different ways.
Did you know the #1 way to build wealth is through real estate? Have you always wanted to buy your first income property, but you didn't know where to start? Join my group, Legacy Wealth Builders, where we will teach you how to buy your first income property and then keep your wealth by teaching the success and wealth principles to your kids. Because it's not just about building your wealth, but it's about keeping it for generations to come. So click the link, join our group, because for the month of June, the group is free. So get all the training you need and join the group now. I love that. I think it's so true. And Tony Robbins talks about this a little bit where he says, we have two forces pulling us, pleasure or pain. And most people will do anything to avoid pain. It's that stick. I'm going to do this just to prove you wrong. Like, I'm just going to be there. And I can relate to your story so much. I've had so many what I call bathroom floor moments where you're just like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And in reality, you do, but sometimes you're in it, right? And you just can't quite get out. And what got me out were stories. Yeah. And that's why I started this podcast, because I feel like stories can pull us out of our own muck, our own focal point, and be like, you know what? No, like, I'm not going to be who they say I am. I know who I am and I'm meant to do this. And so I love that you created this, you came out of the trenches, then what happened?
Well, here's the crazy part that blew me away. And I mean this. I was tripping out right here at my desk. I was tripping out. And here's why. So I've got this concept. I knew it worked for me.
Hmm.
And people are coming to me going, okay, why are you succeeding? Before, and I teach them. Before I knew it, I had rooms full of people learning from me, which was freaked me out. Um, and then we started applying it to marriage, because marriage is a goal that 50% fail at. I started
Yep.
getting these emails, you just saved my marriage. There's an international weight loss coach in one of my audiences. She freaks out, starts teaching all of her clients. And so I've got something here. I want to put it into this book, right?
Hmm.
But I didn't want to put out, I'll just be real here. I don't want to put out crap, okay?
Right.
I, you know, I guess we all have our own self doubts and everything. I was like, I don't know, man. So I wanted to prove myself wrong. True scientific research is proving yourself wrong, not going out there to find evidence, prove yourself right.
Hmm.
So I go online and I start researching this concept, and I start running into some psychology called prospect theory and framing studies. And I'm reading this stuff and I'm like, I'm looking over here because this is where my screen is. My jaw starts dropping. I'm like, I think I'm having trouble understanding what they're saying, but I think they're actually saying exactly what I'm saying. As it turns out, prospect theory won the Nobel Prize when it was applied to economics. So this is the real deal. Okay. This isn't some whatever, hooey stuff, rainbows,
Right.
unicorns. This is the real deal. What prospect theory taught us is that we will do more to avoid pain than to go toward pleasure. We'll
Yes.
do more to avoid pain than go toward pleasure. I love to tell people I do a lot of stuff in the wilderness around the world. I'm weird. That's what I do, usually by myself. I can go after a grizzly bear. I can run pretty quick to take a good picture. You know when I can run faster? When that grizzly bear's chasing me, right?
Yeah.
And here's how it applies to goal setting is no matter how much positive visualization we do and manifestation and dream boards and all this stuff, it's not enough to get us through the pain of getting out of our comfort zone. That's why 92% of the people who set a goal fail.
Mm.
Pleasure isn't enough to get us out of the pain. So when we utilize that pain, it works. So this looks cool. I don't really understand what they're saying, though, for sure. I think I got it. I'm tripping out. I'm telling my wife I might have stumbled onto something big here. I put on my social media, I need somebody who understands prospect theory. I received several replies from really smart people, one that I could actually understand
Right.
because, again, they speak a language I don't fathom.
Yeah.
He got his he did his PhD dissertation in prospect theory. Couldn't have been more perfect.
Yeah.
And and I said, okay, let me send you my notes. I'm writing this book, but I don't want to put out garbage. Let
Right.
me send you my notes. And he comes back and goes, no, you've nailed it. It is an absolute application. He wrote the foreword to my book.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that amazing? So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's really founded in science and it's helping so many people.
Oh, I mean, I am kind of like a geek when it comes to that stuff. Like I love how the brain works when you can untap things that, set our limiting beliefs and our systems in our brain. And I feel like you said, most of it's this complex jargon. And so people want to avoid the pain of feeling dumb and not read it, even though
Yeah.
they could unlock so much pleasure. It's like, no, Netflix, right? Like,
Yeah. 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 Amen. Yeah.
yeah. And so I love that you unlocked that to make it simple for people. It's kind of, in a way, like why I do this podcast. Like I had a gal on my podcast a couple days ago, and she just spoke in all of this jargon, and I had to stop her and I said, we're going to have to reschedule this interview because my audience is smart, but I want them to enjoy this
Yeah. Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
And the way that you talked about it, I don't even want to listen to it. I mean,
Wow. Yeah.
it's just the way that we're wired is, we want to understand. We don't want to feel stupid. We want to
Yeah.
enjoy that conversation. So I love that you took something like goal setting. This isn't January, but we're halfway through the year, right? And people had set goals for the beginning of 2024, and most of them have already given up on them. But
Yeah.
now you're giving them a tool to say, hey, let's not kill the dream. Let's
Yeah.
look at it a different way of how we can actually achieve that result.
Absolutely. And what I did in the book is I tried to make it simple like me. I tried to really bring it down. Well, in fact, it starts with a parable, a child's parable, the ox cart, the ox cart technique, carrot and the stick.
Yeah.
It starts with a parable. And I really felt great when Dr. Tansley, who wrote the foreword, started his forward with, and I'll mess up the quote, but Einstein said, "True genius is making the complex simple," and that's exactly what Terry L. Fossum's done in this book. I was like, wow, you know.
Yeah.
But it gives, and again, it's a very specific method for doing this because there is a danger in, okay, I'm focusing so much on the failure. So this is a very specific way.
Mhm.
Please, everybody, get the book. In fact, I'm going to tell you how to get it for dirt cheap, the PDF version for dirt cheap. Um, and in there, I give examples from whether it's a business goal, financial goal, trying to save up for a nest egg and I don't make much money, or a weight loss goal, of course, marriage
Mhm.
goal, and exact examples of people's failure scenarios, of their
Yeah.
action plans for getting the success in those areas and their success scenarios so you can develop your own. It's all just step by step stories. They tell me it's pretty enjoyable reading, actually, so that's good. But yeah,
Yes, I
hopefully
know. And you sent
a
me over
lot of
the
help
book,
for a
and
lot more people.
I can't wait to dive into the book myself and just really, because I am one that, yeah, I'm the vision board, but you don't get the vision board, you don't meet that, and then you feel like a failure. But and then it's this whole like trifecta of, well, then I guess I'm never going to
Yeah.
have it, or it seems so far away that am I even going to have it? When I
Yes.
named this podcast "What Went Wrong: The Untold Stories of Bouncing Back," there are a few people in my inner circle, they were like, well, why are you focused on the negative? I don't like that. I think you should do something of inspiration, because I'm a very inspirational, positive person.
Sure, sure.
But I said, here's the reality. When we all know that we fail and failure is part of it, it
Yes.
takes the sting out of it. When you think failure is this big disappointment and it's horrible and oh, I'm so horrible, like it's my identity, then what holds the power. So I mean, I'm excited to learn about this technique, and audience, we'll put the link in the description of how you can get it and where you can get it and all of those things. But you created this technique, you're getting all of these accolades. Tell, like, how long ago was that? Like, how has it brought you success now and in your own relationships and career?
Yeah, I love it. And what I'll speak of mostly is how the oxcart technique has, because
Yeah.
again, I'm a man of my word. I'm not going to talk about something I don't do.
Right.
And so let's talk. Let's shift the conversation just a little bit. Obviously, I've applied it to be very, very blessed in business. I was failing horribly. By the way, after that low point, that's it. I give up. I got pissed off. It's because of that and developing the oxcart technique that I became part of the top fraction of 1% of my entire industry in the world. And by the way, that was direct sales. That was network marketing. That's not an easy industry.
No. No.
And probably more than the 92% fail at it. That's why it changed my entire life, because now I created this, everything you hear about, everything you dream of, this income coming in, to where when I married into three teenage and preteen boys, and suddenly my life changed because I was in a six-bedroom house all by myself. Okay, that's not fair. I had two dogs. We each had two bedrooms. All right. I used to have, what do you call it? Sanity, peace and quiet.
Yep.
Yeah. And suddenly, and my fiance at that point said, "You don't understand. You're about to go from 0 to 55 in no time." So I called up and they needed a positive male role model very badly. And I called up my partners and I said, "Guess what? I just retired." And they're like, "Wait, what?" "Yeah, I just retired. Uh, these boys need a positive male role model. I've got one chance to turn them into honorable men, and I'm not going to screw it up." So I was able to raise them. I became their scoutmaster, which is why I ended up being representing all the Boy Scouts of America as a scoutmaster on a survival reality show. But I applied even the oxcart technique to that. I was the oldest guy in the show. There's no way I'm going to win. I'm against all these special forces guys. Marine Scout sniper, fourth degree ninja black belt. I had seen on Naked and Afraid All Stars, all but the fuzzy parts. These a guy who helped take out Saddam Hussein and the fat old scoutmaster. Come on, you know, no way I'm going to win. And the executive producer told me afterwards. I asked, "Did you think I was going to win?" He said, "No, no."
You're
I
like,
applied the
thanks.
oxcart technique. Yeah, yeah. But being able to also now apply that to a marriage, which to me, if you don't got the relationships in your life going, you don't have anything. I don't care how much money you
Right.
have. And I've been divorced.
Amen.
Don't ever want to do that. Yeah. Don't ever want to do that again. I use the oxcart technique every single flipping day for my marriage. Um, and it works. And I have this amazing marriage with this amazing wife that I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with. And I believe she feels the same way. Um,
That's good.
dear, you do. No. And for the weight loss, being able to keep the weight off and everything else, it's just it can affect everything that could be a goal, including. I'll tell you this story very quickly. So I'm sitting here still writing the book, and I'm writing a chapter on addiction. Now I don't know if I'm going to leave. It's not really that kind of a book, It's more of a business book. Addiction, I don't know. And my doorbell rings, and I go up and answer. It's one of my housekeeping team, and oh, Mr. Fossum, I'm so sorry to bother you. Um, we were here cleaning yesterday, and I left my favorite sweatshirt here. Do you mind if I look around for it? Like, all right, cool. You know the house better than I do. Go for it. But something seemed off. Something just seemed, you know, you can
Yep.
tell. Yeah. And she was wearing this really baggy sweatshirt as it was. Like, okay, well, she makes a beeline right upstairs into our bedroom suite. Now, I suck at buying clothes and stuff like that for my wife. Most of my wardrobe is outdoor gear. It's all earth tone. All right. But I can buy jewelry, so she's okay with it.
Oh, there you go.
So she goes, and this young lady makes a beeline upstairs into our bedroom suite. Like, okay, all right, cool. I sneak up the stairs behind her, and I look through, and she's in my underwear drawer. So I would go ahead and make myself know, your sweatshirt will not be in my underwear drawer. Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. It was open. I was closing it. I'm about to say, and she looks past me. And says, oh, there it is. And I look behind me, right by my wife's side of the bed, and there's a sweatshirt. Oh, there it is. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so glad. Like, okay. And she left. I called up her boss. I said, okay, she was stealing from me. She'll never be in my house again. You decide what else you want to do with her. Next day, they're both on the phone. She's bawling her eyes out. And she tells me what happened. So, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was in an accident 12 years ago, and I got addicted to painkillers. I was
Mm,
stealing your leftover, whatever those things are. I don't take them. That's why I
okay.
have leftover. I was stealing those. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So, okay. I want to help this gal, not enable her, but help her.
Right. Yeah.
Oxcart, Oxcart time. Okay, failure scenario, and again, it tells you exactly how to do this in the book. Um, Much more detail I'm about to give. You're going to prison. You're going to prison. Oh, this is a felony. You're stealing my prescription medication. You're going to prison. I'll let that sink in just for a moment. They said, unless. Okay, notice the order here:
Mm-hmm.
problem, solution, failure scenario, action plan, success scenario. You're going to prison unless you check into inpatient treatment. After that, you go to outpatient treatment. And I will be following up with you. Oh, thank you. No, 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 no. I will be following up with you. And if you do this, carrot, success scenario, you can be free. You can stop lying to your husband. Didn't even know. You can stop lying to your friends. You can stop lying to yourself. That was about 12 years ago. And as of today, she's still clean.
Mm. Oh, that's so good. That's I love that. I can't wait to read the book. I believe in so much of that. I mean, yeah, there's so much I could say right now, but I'll just leave it with that story because honestly, guys, if that has not intrigued you to take advantage of this book, but more than that, just the lesson that of what Terry went through, like realize that if you are somebody like the 92% that have not reached your goal, it's okay. I'm like you, Tara. I'm not here to enable anybody. Like we are all in control of our own actions. But when
Right.
you know that there are certain things that pull you or push you away and you have an awareness of it, that gives you back the control. So if you're
Yes.
tired of setting those goals and setting that vision board and you truly want to live this extraordinary, beautiful life that you have been given, because I don't really care what your circumstances are, you can live a beautiful life,
Yes.
whatever that looks like for you. And
Yeah.
so thank you so much. We will have all of the links in the description, but is there anything else? Is there something coming up that you're excited about or you want to leave our audience with?
Um, go to thegoalsecret.com, thegoalsecret.com, and you can get the ebook at half price in there. I wanted to get in everybody's hands. There's a cost to it because there's some costs involved with doing it.
Yeah.
But $5, you got this thing.
Oh,
Now you
yeah.
can go on Amazon and pay the $10 for it, or the $20 for the print version, or 25, whatever, or just go to the Goal Secret right now, download the PDF of it, and get this thing so it can be helping you right now. Please do. You can always go to terrylfossum.com. There's other good stuff there. Follow me on social media, and check out the TED Talk. You know,
Yes.
um,
Yes, and we'll have all those links. I'm a tangible person, so when I get something I really like, I'm willing to I mean, what's 25 bucks
yeah,
anymore? I mean, people spend more at Starbucks, it seems like.
yeah,
And then you get on here and people are like, "What? It's short." I'm like, "Dude, this can change your life."
yes,
What do we spend on, our subscriptions to watch garbage on TV, right? Like, take
yeah,
it in your own hands and say, "Right now, I can achieve this and my failures don't define me. It can catapult me." That is my personality. I let that be my fuel. I'm like, "Oh no, you're not going to tell me what I can't do," or this isn't going to define me. We're going to go today. So we will have all of those links in the description. Guys, if this episode served you in any way, share it. Share it with a friend. If you think somebody, they're the person who maybe they're looking to throw in the towel and they want to give up on everything, you might not even know. That's the thing too. When I'm talking to you guys, I ask if you know somebody. Guys, you might not know.
yeah,
I bet Terry's friends didn't know that he was willing to throw in the towel. I know my friends didn't know when I was sitting on my bathroom floor in the fetal position, just ready to throw in everything. Just share it. These
yeah,
stories are really uplifting, even though it says what went wrong. Like, it's going to take you out of it, because look at where Terry is now. He lives his best life, right? Like, that's the new tagline right now. Like, live your best
right,
life. Well, actually live it. Don't just have the tagline. So, we're on YouTube. We're on every podcast platform that you can get on. Leave a comment. Let us know what you're loving, what you're liking, what you're not liking. I don't care. I want to know, because I'm here
yeah,
to serve you. I know Terry's here to serve his audience. That's why we do what we do. Guys, remember, if you're in the what went wrong, just keep persisting, reaching out, finding the resource. Take one step toward that goal, because I promise it will lead to the what went right if you just persist towards it. Until next time, thanks, guys.